Hi and good morning to you. Okay, well, let's kick off this morning with a few facts. Yes, facts. That's a word this government doesn't like, facts. When you can prove facts, they hate you. They come after you. They lock you up, put you in prison. The fact is, freedom of speech in this country is being curbed tremendously because Keir Starmer and his puppets that they call the Labour government don't want to hear the facts. The facts are that if we open the North Sea, one of the biggest fields for oil and gas in the world, rather than buy it off the Norwegians at double the price, we will be self-sufficient. Now, why is this? Because van der Leyen, I think that's her name, the short, stubby little woman that looks like a bloody midget, she's pulling Keir Starmer's strings, isn't she? Keir Starmer now wants to take us back into the single market, back into Europe, even though 17.5 million people voted against it. But he's going to do this without a vote in Parliament. He won't actually come out and say that they're not going to get a vote. He pontificates, he gives waffles, he goes on all around the houses, but he never, ever gets to the point. Whenever he's asked a question in Parliament, during Prime Minister's question time, he never answers the bloody question. He just waffle and go round it. It's a party political bloody statement from this man. He's a liar. There's no other way to describe him. He's lied time and time. I won't send our children, our men and women to fight, in the Iran war. And then behind the scenes, he's trying to make call up for men up to the age of 44, even 65 now, He's out of luck with me, but he's trying to make call up ready for war. Now, the war that he's talking about isn't the important war to stop a country developing a nuclear weapon. He's talking about the war with the corrupt little guy called Zelensky, the Ukraine war that was started basically by the EU, literally giving money to the Ukraine to upset President Putin by putting tanks and soldiers literally on the border and enticing him into NATO, which we actually did promise years ago that NATO wouldn't push any further east. But now it seems Europe, under van der Leyen, wants to go and push further east. So Putin quite rightly said, I'm not having this. You made me promises, you made me assurances. Get these troops off the border or I will invade. Well, Zelensky didn't listen. He thought Europe and America would come to his aid and everything else. Now the truth is coming out. We've got one Lord Mayor, apparently, in the Ukraine on a salary of $600 or the equivalent of $600 a month, buying a £4 million sort of villa abroad. Now, how is that possible? Who is paying for this? Is the taxpayer paying for this of Europe? Are we paying for it in Britain? I mean, we seem to give billions and billions of pounds that we can't afford. I mean, we're in so much bloody debt in this country. It would take 2 lifetimes to climb out of it. I mean, they're well over 100 billion now in debt. And they go on about we inherited, after 14 years of Conservative government, we inherited a £22.5 billion debt, the black hole they call it. Bloody black hole. This has only taken less than 2 years for them to clock up well over 100 billion. This isn't a black hole, it's a bleeding abyss. You fall in it, you never climb out of it. Jesus Christ. Keir Starmer is the biggest liar I have ever come across. That's my personal opinion. And I think a lot of people agree with this. Well, come the 16th of May, I think Keir Starmer's in for a rude awakening because there's certain things that can happen on the 16th of May. And I'm not saying I believe in violence and I'm not trying to incite violence. But public buildings, such as Parliament, are public buildings. We've paid for this over generations and many, many lives to keep democracy free, and they are a public building, the same as council offices and places like that. These are public buildings. Now, when you film and you get the hit squad, the Nazis come along and say, oh, you can't film, and the person filming says, I'm on a public space. I'm on a public highway and I'm filming. I'm not on private property. Well, here's news to you. There are a lot of public buildings that we can peacefully enter. We can make our presence known. And one of these is Parliament. And Parliament, we can enter a public building. We have the right. We're taxpayers. We've got more right than the illegals that come over. They are just guests of this country and really shouldn't even be here. Basically, they've entered illegally. They should be thrown out. Simple as that. That's the law. You enter this country illegally without papers, you're sent back. That's it. There's no question about it. These are economic refugees that come here, and they do, a large percentage of them now, rape, pillage, rob, steal, commit murder. Why the hell are they still here? Well, they're still here because our judicial system in this country has gone down the pan. You might as well flush the chain. The shit goes out because we've got so many judges these days that are lefties. Now, I'm waiting to see what lefty judge will be entitled to sit on the bench of the case that's going forward on the 27th and 28th of this month, involving what is known and what is out there as rent boys, Ukrainian rent boys. Now, it just so happens that Keir Starmer was caught up in this. A couple of his properties went up in flames, or part of them did. A car was damaged that used to be owned by Keir Starmer. So why would three men, boys, that sell their bodies for a fee, why would these people be targeting Keir Starmer? I mean, that's the question. I'm not saying he's done anything wrong. That's up for the courts to decide. But it's interesting, isn't it, that no media outlet, no mainstream media is talking about it. That in less than a couple of weeks' time, we have the Prime Minister of this country going to have to answer questions, or someone's going to have to answer questions on his behalf, why Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of this country, was targeted by three Ukrainian sexual workers. Now, there was a time when in Parliament, Keith Vaz was actually paying for sex with the terminology rent boys, and he was drummed out and resigned from Parliament. Well, if this is proven that Keir Starmer has done this, and I'm not saying he has, it's not proven yet, then will he resign? Will he be a laughingstock on the world stage? Will he have to step down? Will Labour finally call a general election because they've got in on a manifesto of lies? And it was lies. Whatever he said he was going to do, I'm going to defend this country, I'm going to save this country. What a load of bollocks. We've got energy out there in the North Sea that could see us over for a generation. Why the hell aren't we using it? Why are we paying double for the energy from Norway? Why are we trying to get what we call clean energy into this country, which is going to take decades to do? And we've got Ed Miliband, the bloody puppet that looks like something from Wallace and Gromit. Why the hell are we listening to this complete nutcase? It's time to stop. And come the 16th of May, I think certain things are going to happen that it's going to have to stop. Maybe a general election will be called literally a couple of days after. And come the 27th and 28th of April, will this trial go ahead involving Keir Starmer, or will it be postponed? We know that when it's something the government don't want to hear, it normally gets postponed. There's my rant for today. There are the facts. Take them as you will. Thank you.